Hello everyone, my name is Havian and today I'm going to be talking about the new update for Alicization Lycoris that was released on all platforms earlier today. Patch 1.04 should be roughly 3GB on PC and 5GB on console. It's not a content update, but based on what I've seen so far, it does look like it's the first of many improvements to the game's optimization. From what I can tell, these improvements seem to impact the console version the most, and all the footage that I'll be using in this video will be from the PS4 Pro version, just so you can see what it looks like for yourselves. As for the PC version, I can't really tell if there were any noticeable improvements in terms of frame rate, since my game has been fine for the most part. But like I mentioned earlier, there are definitely noticeable improvements on console. I haven't been able to check every area since I'm still playing through the PS4 version, but the areas I did check were much more stable. It's not a solid 30 FPS everywhere, but it's a lot better than it was before, so much so that I actually do feel really comfortable playing on the console version now. This isn't the end of the improvements though, since the development team have announced that they plan on releasing more updates to address the performance and optimization issues, so this seemed like one of the first steps in this process. Another thing that received a huge improvement was your party members' AI. There are ways to make them be more aggressive and use sword skills more often, but in their default settings they weren't as helpful as they should be. Before the update, party members would often stand around waiting for something to react to, but it seems like after this update they attack and use support abilities much more often. They can even launch enemies into the air and use sacred arts to fatalize them. Plus, I even saw Leafa using sword skills that I set to her skill palettes, even though I didn't have any records set for her. So if you already customized your party members, like I mentioned in the previous video I made, expect them to perform even better than they did before. But you might have to go into your arts codes and check if you need to make any small adjustments to each character, just because their behaviors may have changed with this recent update. Battles should be much more fun now that your party members actually work properly. It was a bit strange that we had this problem in the first place, since it did seem like wayfarers you met in areas knew how to fight properly. I assume it had something to do with the way arts codes were implemented, but now that it seems fixed, things should hopefully be better. A few other things that they added that are worth mentioning from this update was a save point next to the raid dungeons. It doesn't give you the option to fast travel at the moment, but that is something they're planning on adding in the next update. There's also a new option on the main menu that seems to let you recover your progress from the main mission you're on rather than completely restarting a chapter. This seems to be a good way to fix the game if you run into a major bug that stops progress, but the game does warn you that it won't always fix the issue, so there is a chance that you may still have to restart the chapter if the recovery fails. But at least we have another option there to support us if something does go wrong. They also added options that will let you retry battles if you die during certain story-related fights. This was an issue for a lot of people, especially in Chapter 1, since the game had a few multi-boss battles that would make you restart all of the fights from the beginning if you died. I also noticed that there seems to be less input lag on consoles, or at least PS4. It's not totally gone, but it does feel much better than it did before the update. And according to the patch notes, there were also a few improvements to the game's camera. There are still more improvements planned for the game, including a new update later this month that will add more game save options, increase the game's stability even further, and improve the overall user experience. According to the most recent livestream's translation by DualShockers, in early September there will be another update to Framerate that will apparently fix the remaining launch optimization issues. And in late September there will be a few quality of life features, like an optional semi-automatic mode for combat that will let less experienced players easily link attacks and sword skills together by pressing the same button. They're also planning a light visual novel style version of the main story that apparently will remove the battles and exploration for people that just want the story. And they'll be updating the raid menu to remember the character and class choices that you picked previously, so you can just easily replay dungeons with the same choices rather than filling them out each time you go in. After all this has been done, it's been said that the developers will focus more on content and DLC, while still addressing any additional issues that may arise. Back before the game was released, I did mention in a video that I thought the game would get delayed because it still looked like there was a lot of work to do. Eventually they did delay it due to COVID, but I assume that the plan was always to release the game at the same time as the anime, and then update it afterwards if there were any remaining issues. I'm sure that it was really rough for the development team to try and work around the impacts of the pandemic during the last few months of development, but I guess the initial delay still wasn't enough time for the game. Hopefully everything will be working as intended at the end of September, and then I guess we can consider that the real start to the game. But sadly, unless they add some interesting content to the game to bring people back, that could probably be far too late. But either way, I'll be keeping an eye on the game to see how things improve. Another thing that I will be doing is streaming again on Saturdays and Sundays from 3 PM BST or UK time over on twitch.tv/Havian. So if you want to talk to me directly while I play, or if you just want to chill with the rest of the community and eventually join in some of our multiplayer sessions, then head over to twitch.tv/Havian and drop me a follow. You can watch the stream for free without a Twitch account, but if you do want to talk in the chat, then you will need to make one. They are free and they're easy to set up, so you should be able to get one made in like 2 minutes if you really want to use chat. This weekend I'll be streaming the PS4 version of Alicization Lycoris as I catch up to where I was in the PC. I'll also be playing some PSO2 since I moved over to the global server from the Japanese one. And I'll be trying out the Avengers beta since I actually did have fun playing it last weekend, so I will be revisiting it once the beta is live again this weekend. If you can't watch live or if you can't make it on the weekends, don't worry, I'll still be uploading the best bits onto this YouTube channel, and I'll be uploading the full streams over to my second gameplay channel. I'll leave the links to those in the description below. I post smaller gameplay clips and news updates over on Twitter between the videos that I make, so if you want to see some of those, I'll put the link to it in the description so you can head over there and follow if you want to stay up to date with everything I'm doing. If you want to see any of the other gameplay videos I make for Sword Art Online or action RPGs, then don't forget to subscribe and remember to click the bell, so you'll be the first to know when a new video is available. I'll be making some new videos very soon, but until I make those videos, I'll see you all later.